Hi there. Hey, Happy New Year, and I hope you had a wonderful entry into 2019. As you can probably see from the title, this is the announced Q&A video that also serves as the 1K special, because if you weren't watching the channel, we kind of broke all our limits and jumped from 70 subs to 1,000 subs in a matter of days. So, this Q&A is just a little thing I want to do so you guys can get to know me a bit better, know what you gotta deal with here with me. So, yeah, I think we'll just get right started. The questions I got kinda fell into two categories, namely questions about me and questions about anime and my thoughts on these anime or whatever. So, I separated them into those two categories as well. So, let's just start. Where are you from, my dude, and what or who inspired you to start making videos? I'm from Switzerland. For those who don't know, that's a small country between Germany, Austria, France, and Italy. And the thing is, I'm not Swiss. I was born here, I was raised here, but my mother is from Turkey and my father is from Italy. And I learned English very early, so a lot of these linguistic and cultural influences mix and mesh to create the absolute mess of an accent that you hear in every video. And as for inspirations about making videos, I kind of had two parts to that, because on one hand I was inspired by a lot of gaming channels like Indigo Gaming, Zarek Zakaron, Reykjavik, just these very high quality long form video essays about games. Shaymay as well, 7-hour Pokemon analysis, my jam. But at the time when I was still just not involved in YouTube at all and was just watching those videos essentially, I felt like I didn't have the know-how to produce videos like that, so I kind of stayed away from that, but it kind of awakened the interest in me. And then when I started getting into AniTube and anime, it was people like Super Eye Patch Wolf and Giguk and Soul or Soul Madness YouTube, however you know him. These YouTubers who were basically... Oh, also Alexander, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, your name is weird to pronounce, but Alexander, his video essays are also superb, and just these introspective and emotionally driven essays of anime and its themes just kind of got to me. Like, I liked watching them, and I liked kind of comparing what they thought and what I thought. And after a while, after watching these videos for a couple of times, I realized, oh wait, the actual production value of these videos is not that high. You know, they are polished looking videos, but they are mostly talking over scenes or other stuff. And that is in no way to mean that I'm putting those videos down. It was just an observation that inspired me to think for myself, okay, I can do that. I know roughly how to edit. I don't need to have a Hollywood level editing style to pull this off. So I just did that, yeah. That's kind of all there was to it. What are series, be it games, anime, or whatever, you really want to get into more in the near future? I don't quite know. I think the Tales of series is pretty interesting as like an RPG, but I know like next to nothing about it besides it looks nice and there are ufotable OVAs or something about it. I kinda want to get more into Fate, as daunting as that sounds. I did play the visual novels, but kind of passively. So I feel like I should give them another try and maybe look at all like the extra stuff, because I am invested, you know. Fate Zero and Fate Unlimited Blade Works are fantastic. But I never dove into that as deeply as I probably could have. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'm actually quite comfortable right now in where I am. So I don't feel like I have to jump into many more incredibly big franchises. Like, I might As for singular things, I might check out Inyo Asano's full library, because he's amazing. Punpun has risen to one of my favorite stories of all time, so I'm kind of interested there. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure. I think I kind of just jump into things as I find them. I don't really plan ahead, if that makes sense. Which series would you erase if you could? I don't actually think there is one I would erase. Like, as long as a piece of media isn't harmful or downright disrespectful to specific people on a consistent basis, I think it has a right to exist, no matter how downright bad or terrible the quality is. If I had to really stretch it, I think Berserk, namely 2016 and 2017, would have to be the ones that I would like to erase. Simply because they killed our chances at a good Berserk adaptation, because now the series has been adapted 3 times and it failed every time. So there's just no chance left for us, you know. The suffering continues just as Miura wants. Favorite childhood series? I think it kind of underwent a little cycle. Like, at some point I really loved Naruto. And then that kind of switched to Pokemon. And then that kind of switched away from anime into stuff like Avatar: The Last Airbender. If we're talking like really tiny childhood, like, you know, 6, 7. Oh, I honestly don't know. I don't really remember what I was watching there. Probably SpongeBob. Like, that was a fantastic show. Rest in peace, Steve. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. Good God, finally someone who can present some good arguments. Good video as always. And by the way, how old are you? Thank you for all the compliments. Yeah, I hope the arguments are good anyways. I'm 22. As in, I literally just turned 22 yesterday. Well, no, the day before. On the 29th anyway. Yeah. So I'm not too old, but especially when I'm around Twitter and like Twitter, I do feel kind of old. Because a lot of people are in their they're like 17, 16, 14, and it kind of feels weird. Ooh, okay, this is a compilation. Question 1. Why is YouTube so broken? Dark magic. Question 2. Hunter x Hunter 2011 is the greatest anime of all time. That's not a question, but it's true, so freebie. I mean, I guess. I'm not gonna argue that Hunter x Hunter 2011 is fantastic, even though there's been this weird resurgence where everyone has started hating on it and preferring the 99 version. I haven't watched the 99 version, so I can't judge, but... Question 3. Any siblings? Oh, an actual question, huh? Yeah, I have one sister, 2 Blue Fox 5. She is an artist over on Twitter. You should check her stuff out. She also did my channel icon and my Twitter icon. Question 4. When will Switzerland conquer Germany? When we have a reason to. Germany is just worse Switzerland. Question 5. When will Switzerland conquer the world? When we have a reason to. The world is just worse Switzerland. Question 6. Top 5 favorite anime and manga separate. Ooh, okay. Because the thing is, I haven't actually read that many manga. I only started getting into it last year. So, as our top 5 favorite anime... honestly, you know what? I have to pass on this question because I'm not good at like these top 5 lists, especially with anime manga. If I can throw out a sum that I really love, Hunter x Hunter is fantastic, which is what you want me to say, don't you? My Hero Academia, Goodnight Punpun, absolutely read Goodnight Punpun. Toriko, I'm not done with it, but it's amazing so far. Yeah, I think I have to pass on this more. Read Hell Warden in Shonen Jump. That's not a question, but do it anyway. I mean, sure. Next batch. Have you watched Prison School? It's a great anime/manga. I haven't watched Prison School. I only know the whole ass man meme from it, which I agree. Booty goat. Question 2. If you had to choose a known quirk in MHA, What would it be? Ooh, honestly, I might go for Todoroki's because that is just so immensely broken. Because if he, end of series, learns to control it, he will be unstoppable because he has a quirk that essentially cancels out each other's weaknesses. So that's pretty cool. Honestly, One for All would be pretty dope as well. Just because I like being buff. Also, All for One, of course, because at that point you have all the quirks. And, the price is a couple of vegetables, so, I don't know. Question 3. Would you rather be a hero, a hunter, or a devil fruit user? Now, the thing here is, if you're a hero, does that mean I already have a quirk that is good, or at least that I learned how to use? Because then I definitely want to do that, because quirks are cool. However, if you're just talking about a person in the MHA universe, you can still roll bad dice and end up, having a quirk where you can bend your fingers backwards, like Melissa's dad from the movie. And the Devil Fruit user, as cool as Devil Fruit powers are, the problem with them is they all have a pretty big disadvantage. Namely, you definitely have the disadvantage of not being able to swim, and I like swimming, tones the body really well. And also, depending on whether you're a Logia with an element, you're weak to your element. It's kind of not ideal, but, already better. And a hunter, I think that's what I would have to go for, because hunters are cool. Nen is a really versatile power system. And if I remember, I haven't read or watched Hunter x Hunter in a while now. I'm sorry, Dick Riding Association. But, don't they choose their Nen abilities? As in, don't they construct them themselves? Again, I'll have to read up on it when I eventually do a power system video, but right now in my mind, I feel like you have a lot more control over what your Nen ability ends up being than in all these others. Because with the Devil Fruit, unless you're Blackbeard and have, spent all your 30 man cave years reading one book and memorizing a pattern, you don't know what power you get. Hero, it's genetics, and if genetics is anything to go by, I'm fucked. So, Question 4. Is global warming affecting you guys in Switzerland? It's kind of affecting everyone. Like, that's why it's called global. We, of course, because Switzerland is a very wealthy country, we do, of course, get the luxury of being able to take more measures towards environmental protection without having to cut important parts of our social services. Because, of course, unfortunately, not every country is financially in the situation where they can focus on that, because you kind of need to feed your people first. But if you want to have a very recent effect, yesterday on New Year's, we basically didn't have fireworks because a lot of shops just didn't sell them and banned them out of consideration for air pollution. And in general, I've kind of always known about the whole global warming and climate change, namely because my mother works at a local scientific institute as an atmospheric modeler. So she collects the data, gives us the knowledge about climate change. So I at least always thought it affected us. Like, there are people who close their eyes to it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure we're affected. Why start your channel? Now, as I said, I was inspired both by gaming and AniTubers, but the thing that really pushed me over the edge was the discussion this is so stupid, was the discussion about power scaling and power levels in Dragon Ball Super around the time the two female Saiyans, Caulifla and Kale, appeared. Because that discussion was so toxic and so garbage. Like, you had people who were generally trying to have a discussion about, like, people like Geekdom and all his squad over there. But there were so many people who were dismissing Dragon Ball Super as a whole, because they just preferred GT. And, if you prefer GT, that's fine, but, shitting on Super as a whole just because that didn't sit right with me. And a lot of people were calling especially Kale and Caulifla, just SJW inserts, which I didn't quite like. So in fact, exactly 1 year ago, downloaded a video editing software and just made a video. It's terrible, you know, by my standards now, but you can still watch it. It's my first video on this channel, you know, did Dragon Ball Super Ruin power scaling. If you watch it, don't take it too seriously, it's kind of bad. Anyway, yeah. Why the name Oceaniz? Also congrats on hitting 1.2k subs. Thank you, it's actually 1.3k now. Jesus. Now, the name Oceaniz is actually really simple. My real name is Dennis, or in proper pronunciation, Deniz, but don't call me that. Which is the Turkish word for sea or ocean. So I just combined my real name with the meaning of my real name, and out of Dennis and ocean came Oceaniz, or Oceans, as people started calling me, and now that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry, I don't have a deeply emotional story about it. Like my original channel, like this channel used to have a different name, you can still find it in the URL sometimes, was a Derirari, which had no reason. That was literally just me smashing the keyboard, putting the word D in front of it and just going blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I'm not creative with names, I'm sorry. What is your favorite game? Oh, there are a few contenders. I think if you mean favorite like classic game, I would have to say Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, because Hideo Kojima is an absolute genius. As for favorite modern game, probably The Witcher 3. I know it's boring choice, but honestly that game is just fantastic. Fuck you. Why do you defend trash? That's weird. I don't remember defending you. Have you watched Assassination Classroom? If you have, what were your favorite moments and characters? One more, I have not seen any videos on Assassination Classroom. Would you ever consider making one? Yes, I have watched Assassination Classroom. It's great. I remember me and my best friend, we found it on it was like a lazy summer afternoon. And we found it and we saw, you know, Koro Sensei and everything, and we thought, oh my god, this looks so stupid, let's watch it. No way this can be good. And, you know, 2 seasons later, we were both like, holy shit, this is fucking great. And the thing was, we watched it right around graduation, so you know we were fucking bawling our eyes out by the end. Which is also why my favorite moment is the end, I think. I know, for some reason, people don't seem to like it. I love it. And my favorite character is Koro Sensei, like. He's just fantastic. What do you think of My Hero Academia's world building? That is my biggest complaint with the series. At this point, I'm thinking that Kohei just doesn't think it's necessary in a series focused on academia. Am I missing something? I can't quite agree with that. Because the thing is, world building isn't just, here's this, here's that place, here does this happen. It's more about how a world, be it a completely fictional or a partially realistic world, how that world works together within the logic of the story. And I do think there he has done a pretty great job, because people never consider it, but we know a lot about the societal dynamics of My Hero Academia's world. We know that the kids have quirk counseling. We know that there is a phenomenon where people take more care of their children's quirks than their children. We know that there's a certain bias going around about certain types of quirks. We know that the society underwent a huge change when quirks arrived, which is not obvious. You know, many lesser series have had superpowers and then just went, oh yeah, everyone just accepted it, or just didn't mention it. So I think world building is present. It's just not the One Piece type of world building. It's just not the One Piece type of world building. But I wouldn't really call it something he's neglected. Now, if you think that this type of world building is lacking, or just not your type that you prefer to see, that's fine. I can't tell you what you like, you know. You're an adult, presumably. So, yeah, but I don't think the world building is lacking, necessarily. Then again, I'm a fucking MHA stan cuck, whatever you want to call me, so my opinion doesn't matter. Why do you hate Black Clover so much? I meant, what was the anime manga that got you into anime manga? Ha, nice save there. Honestly, I think it was Naruto. Because before that, I hadn't really watched anime manga. Because it was a bit too violent, and my parents were kind of about it. So I remember one time in middle school, my friend comes up to me and he starts talking about Naruto, and he completely bullshitted me. He was like, oh yeah, Kakashi, he's their master, he can use the Kamehameha, that is like fire, water, and wind all together, and Sakura is Sasuke's sister, and like, I completely believed it, because I had no fucking idea. So I remember I watched the Naruto Sasuke end fight of part 1 all on YouTube in German dub, and it was garbage, and I didn't understand jack shit. And I was like, why are they fighting? I thought they were friends, what is this? And then I just got so curious that I just started watching the entire series on YouTube. That was a time before, when YouTube wasn't even called YouTube, it was called Google Videos, or rather, YouTube hadn't even started properly. Man, yeah, that's how I got into all this shit. What's some anime manga you don't really get a chance to talk about or don't think is recognized that you like? I'm not quite sure, because, if I like something, I'll talk about it. It's just a matter of when. I think one manga that gets a lot less recognition than it should is Assassination Classroom. Because as I mentioned before, it's fantastic, but people seem to sometimes write it off as just, fun time school adventures or weird shonen off title, which I get, because the first impression is pretty misleading. But I am probably gonna make a video on it eventually. Like, let's see how this YouTube thing evolves. A lot of unexpected things happened, so I'm not sure where this is going, but I like it. Yeah. Questions. Pick the one you like the most. I will pick all of them. Thank you very much. Worst anime you've ever watched? Berserk 2016-17. Most underappreciated anime you have watched? Boo. Again, maybe Assassination Classroom? Because the thing is, you can always find people who appreciate something. You can always find their fandoms. And I'm never sure if a fandom is just too small for something, because I'm just like, these people seem cool. I don't need much more. Favorite fight? Oh... I really like Naruto vs Sasuke in part 1. It's a really solid fight. Luffy vs Crocodile is really good. Best fight in One Piece, fight me. And you know what? Fuck you. I really like Todoroki vs Deku. I know people say it's such a boring fight because it's just about hype, but you know what? When I started watching MHA, I signed up for hype, and I got that. Also, watch my newest video on it, because that is not all there is to it. Favorite male or female character? Favorite male character in anything currently? I kind of have to go with Endeavor, to be quite honest. Which may sound horrible to people who haven't read the manga, but believe me, he gets very, very good. And for those who don't know, I'm in psychology. So his development is incredibly interesting to me. Favorite female character? Probably Noelle from Black Clover, because shonen doesn't have a lot of great female characters, and while there are certainly some absolute fantastic ones that I've seen in the past, the one that's currently the most in my mind is Noelle, just also because I read Black Clover very recently. If I had to talk about one that was very good beforehand, probably Winry from Full Metal Alchemist. Meh? What's your favorite anime? No idea. Currently, it's probably My Hero, just because I like it a lot. I'm sorry. Okay, batch again. 1. What do you think MHA's 5 biggest strengths are as a story? 1. The characters. Namely because they are they're not all fleshed out yet, but because of the way Horikoshi does it, there's always this feeling that everyone will get their shine, which is immensely exciting. The societal aspects of it, as I mentioned before, this feeling that we get a lot more info about the society than we might think. I think that is very interesting and very strong in My Hero, and I like it because sociology is part of psychology. You get me? It's general like tone of writing, if that makes sense. Like, Horikoshi seems to be very able to put rather dark subject material next to really lighthearted or almost slice of life one. And I really like that. Like, for example, the Overhaul arc and the Culture Festival arc that follow essentially right after another, with the little training arc in between. I love that because it really captures how life is sometimes horrible and sometimes just straight up funny. I really think the superhero aspect just catapulted it into popularity, so that was a really smart move. And last but not least, Deku as a protagonist, because for this type of story, he is perfect. Fight me. Who are some of your favorite characters and why? Giorno Giovanna, Panna Cotta Fugo, Deku, Bakugo Endeavor, Crocodile and Smoker from One Piece. I also really like Madara Uchiha. He's really cool. Pompon is fantastic as a character. Yeah, I think those are it. And as to why, for some of them I have more like in-depth reasons, like for Pun. For some of them, I just like him. Like, I have no fucking idea why I like Smoker. He's just cool. And I know he gets humbled a lot, especially, Punk Hazard, also known as Smoker Gets Beaten at the arc, but I just like it. What's your opinion of the current arc in MHA? Class A versus Class B. I like it. People say it's boring. I see why they would think that. I personally only found it boring around, I think, the second fight. But ever since then, it's been straight heat, honestly. The developments are solid. The fights are not too long. And I think the only thing that really holds it back is the weekly grind with the very limited page counts, unfortunately. But of course, Horikoshi has his reasons. So, we'll survive. Do you read the Black Clover manga and are you caught up with it? If so, what do you think of the current arc? Yes, I am caught up with the Black Clover manga. I read it all in preparation for that MHA and Black Clover video because I wanted to be as informed as possible. The current arc is okay. Like, I don't think it's that great. My problem with Black Clover is, again, I think fights are just not that interesting, and all it does is try to tell me that the fights are interesting. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't like it that much. It's fine, like, I'll read it, but I really hope that after this arc, if this isn't the final arc, which I probably isn't, they take like a small break from fighting, give us like an arc of Asta sorting out, like, I don't know, some super petty menial day-to-day shit, because honestly, in other series I'd complain about that, but here I feel like it's desperately needed, because all I know about most of these characters is that they can punch things in this way, and that's it, and that's kind of disappointing. What do you think about the complaints that Izuku was lazy because he didn't train before he got One for All? This is another complaint I don't get, because what do you expect? He was told his entire life that he couldn't do anything, that he basically had to live under the heel of the people who had been given what is normal. He was denied the very means of achieving his dream. I think the main reason why people say he's lazy is because they compare him to Asta. And Asta is a caricature of the shonen archetype, but not really a realistic realization of it. Because, Asta is the ideal of it. He's the guy who, you go, oh, he went through bad shit, but now he's gonna, work hard to get out of it, and that is respectable, but also kind of unrealistic. Izuku, or Deku, rather, is what most of us would probably do in a situation like that. We would dream, we would, have a couple of attempts, like, our notebooks and stuff, but at the end of the day, we probably wouldn't get too far. So it's one of those complaints that I feel are specifically made up just to compare with Asta, which again is just such a tiresome conversation. That's why my MHA and Black Clover video is not a My Hero Academia versus Black Clover video, because that conversation is just so stupid at this point. Everyone just wants to tear down the other series to lift their own series up, and if you engage in that conversation long enough, you just end up shitting on both series, honestly. They're both fine in their own ways. I prefer My Hero Academia, it's no secret. But if you prefer Black Clover, do it. Just don't make up shit to be angry about. And second to last question, are you gonna make a Bucky video? This is kind of out of nowhere. I don't know. I haven't read or watched Bucky, so I don't think I will in the near future, but if I get enough people trying to convince me to read it or watch it, I might. Who knows? I might look it up on my own. Life is complicated. And last one. Why do you hate Ghosh so much? Okay, let's fucking do this. Impromptu Ghosh character analysis. Here we go. Give it a fucking clickbaity thumbnail. Put 17 arrows on that. Put some fucking tits on Ghosh. The full program. We're going all out, boys. Okay, so let's start with the least bad thing about Ghosh, which is his design. It's okay, but it's super boring. He's literally just a dude, which kind of wouldn't be a problem, but a lot of the characters in Black Clover and the Black Bulls are kind of unique looking. I mean, Asta, as bland as he might look at the first glance, he has a lot of little snippets, and I love that he is constantly drawn to be super buff. And, his hair doesn't make sense to me, but it's all these little things that make him a bit more interesting. Then you have people like Yami, people like Magna, people like Gray and Vanessa. Honestly, the only character I would say looks similarly boring is Luck. But he has a couple of weird character quirks that make him a bit more interesting. Even though, they don't get developed much, but... Now the next, a bit worse thing, is his character, because Ghosh is one of those typical, mean, rude, dangerous guy who only cares about a single thing that makes him go sweet. That is a super boring character cliche. I am not on board with that most of the time, because you see, when you write a character like that, you only have two ways of making him involved in any arc. Namely, you contrive a way for him to care about something else all of a sudden, which would work with Ghosh because the series is not that long yet. But that's not what they chose to do. Instead, they go for option 2, which is to contrive a way for the one thing that they care about to be involved in that arc. So, Ghosh has a reason to go and do stuff, which is just kind of unsatisfying. But, all of this will be fine. I don't mind that. Ghosh will just be a subpar character. I don't care. But why? Why did Tabata decide that the one thing he cares about is his sister? And I get it, familial bonds and all, that's sweet. The problem is, he overdoes it to the point that it's creepy. There's a panel where Ghosh goes, "Oh, I wish you were with me on the beach here, my little sister, so I could watch you in your bathing suit." Like, she is a child, she's like fucking 6, 7, 8, I don't care. Like, he just wants to fuck his sister. Let's be real here. He's a fucking pedophile. I know it's not straight up said, but the way he acts, that's what he is, and I'm sorry, it's uncomfortable. Like, I know that some people will hate me for this and go, "Oh, you're such a SJW, putting your values and worldviews on stuff." But no, he's just a fucking pedophile. I'm super sorry. This is just what he is. Because, until that phrase hit, you could have said, okay, he just loves his sister, whatever, what the fuck. But when you have a character saying that they want their fucking 6-year-old sister in a bathing suit in front of them to watch them, That is just... No. And I have no fucking idea why Tabata chose to do this, because it's the only instance of creepy stuff like this. You know, if it were a common thing, then I'd be like, okay, Tabata is just a fucking weirdo. But he obviously isn't. He has a lot of characters that have much more, you know, acceptable motivations and whatnot. Yeah, I just don't get it. And in conclusion, to finish this video, fuck Ghosh. So, this was everything I wanted to say. I hope you found something of it interesting. As for the roadmap for the rest of the videos of this year, we're gonna have a couple of more Skyrim videos. They are not, like, the one I put out was not the most popular one, but, you know, it's kind of a passion project. I really want to do that. So, you're just gonna have to bear with me. I'm sorry, but it's my channel. And otherwise, I am gonna have a couple of videos on other series than just MHA and Black Clover, so stick around. You might find something you like, or you might not. You'll see. So thank you all for subscribing, for watching, for getting me here. It's been an incredible ride these last couple of weeks. You know, reaching 1,000 subs essentially on my birthday was fucking insane. I really did not expect that specific video to blow up as much as it did. It's at over 50k now. Yeah, it's just amazing. Like, if you follow me on Twitter, if you share my stuff, if you show the videos to your friends, if you like, if you retweet, if you just click on my videos and watch them, and, you know, leave a comment saying that you disagree but you watched the video, I appreciate you. It's been really great these last couple of days. It's been really great also for, you know, just my motivation for YouTube. And I really hope I can keep doing this, you know, as long as there's an interest, as long as people want me to do things like these, I'll be doing them. So yeah, this got way too rambly. Essentially, thank you. Thank you all. I'll see you next time. Bye. Take care. Have a great first couple of weeks of 2019. Bye-bye.